Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is going to be a little bit different than a makeup video. We're actually going to have a story time and it is going to be a little bit about a touchy subject to me. I am new to YouTube and I thought that a story time would be a great time to get to know me, get to know some of my stories behind, the camera. So we're just going to jump right into that and yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about abusive relationships. I myself was in a very long and intense, abusive relationship, and they are very hard to deal with, very hard to talk about. So we're just going to dive right into it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience and a little bit how to get out of them, if you need to talk to someone, who to talk to, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to jump right into it. So about 3 years ago was my 3 or 4 years ago now was my sophomore year in high school. I am now graduated, but I did meet this guy, and for the sake of this video, we're going to call him George. So I met George my sophomore year in English class. He was very sweet to me at first. I was new to this school. My freshman year, I went somewhere else, so I had just transferred high schools, so I didn't really know anyone, and he was very sweet to me. So I was like, okay, well, let me be friends with this guy, let him show me around the school, I needed friends at this point because I didn't have anyone at the time. So he was very sweet to me. He showed me around, and weeks progressed, and I just knew that he was into me. And so I kind of tried to avoid the fact at first just because I was new at the school and I didn't want to just jump right into a relationship. I didn't know anyone there, so I didn't, have any girlfriends to be like, whoa, no, he's crazy, which would have totally been cool because this is a juicy story. So we did start dating my sophomore year of high school. He did meet my family. My family hated him. And I was just this stupid sophomore, I was like, well, I like him, so I'm going to do what I please. So the time went on, and he met some of my friends, and my friends felt the same way. They were like, there's something off about this guy, and I was kind of like, well, I like him, so meh. So I continued this relationship, and we did end up dating for almost 4 years, 3 or 4 years on and off. We would break up, of course, because I was like, you're crazy. And then, of course, he would be like, but I love you, blah, blah, blah. And he would, get me back into his trap, which is what a lot of abusive people do. They blackmail you. They just have this not sweet side, but manipulative side where they can get into your head and they can tell you these things that'll get you back. And he totally did that. He did it numerous amounts of times. And so, we were getting into this relationship, and I, felt very strongly for this guy. I did. I really liked him. I did love him at some points. At first it was just, verbal abuse where he would call me stupid, call me fat, call me ugly, and then of course afterwards he'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. FYI, if someone loves you, if someone cares about you, they will not call you those things. Ashley, duh. But, if someone loves you, they're going to be supportive of you. They're going to, if you are overweight, they're going to, help you, work out. They're going to help you do these things. They're not just going to say, hey, you're fat, So I started seeing these signs, and I was totally blindsided by the whole entire thing. I just was like, no, he loves me. He's just giving me, harsh criticism. So we continue on, we break up. I started dating this other guy, and this other guy was a total sweetheart. We became really close. We still are pretty close. We still talk. But then me and him did end up breaking it off. We just weren't for each other. We were better friends than relationship. So, anywho, so me and this George, me and this other guy, get back together, of course, because he got into my head. Anyways, years pass, and he's still this just, he gets in my head. He's verbally abusive. He's controlling me like crazy. So anyways, so my senior year of high school, or the senior, I guess, summer of high school, I decided, screw this, I'm leaving. I'm going to drive to Missouri, which is a far-ass ways away. I live in Washington State, so Missouri is like a 3,000-mile trip. It took forever, but I'm like, I have to get out of the situation. I need a new start. I just can't do this anymore. My whole family's here except for my dad. He lives in Missouri. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move in with my dad. I'm going to continue senior year in Missouri. I have to get out of this situation. I can't, literally, say it was a Wednesday. I can't remember exactly what day. I said on Wednesday to my mother, I am leaving for Missouri tomorrow. I am quitting my job today. I am leaving. I need to get out of this situation. Of course, she was very upset. My mom loves me. She adores me. She's a single mother, so her whole world relies on me. So I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. You can't talk me out of it. I'm leaving. So that's exactly what I did. I left the next morning. I was on the road to Missouri. I had a couple $100 for gas and food. I literally just picked up my life and left because I could not do it anymore. And I got on the road. I got there. I was about 2 weeks into school there, and then he contacts me, and he's like, hey, I miss you. I love you. And my dumbass was like, yeah, I miss you too, but no, I'm in this situation. I'm in Missouri. I can't back down now. I changed my life for a reason. And so he gets into my head. He gets into my father's head. I never talked to my dad about, this abusive relationship just because he's my dad. I didn't want to disappoint him and be like, I let a guy treat me like this. I didn't want, I'm going to get emotional. I didn't want my dad to know that I let a guy treat me like this. So anyways, I didn't tell my dad. My mom kind of knew, but I didn't tell her. She just knew. So I'm in Missouri. I'm like, no, you can't come down here, I do miss you, but I changed my life for a reason. So anyways, my dad goes back to Oregon to see his dad because his dad wasn't doing too well. And my ex, George, somehow talks my father into letting him move to Missouri with us to see me because I love him so much and he has to be with me. He travels across the country with my father because he loves me. It's sweet, right? But he is an abusive asshole. So he gets there and I'm in shock. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? He walks into the house, calm and collected. I hug him. I did miss him. I'm an emotional girl. I was 3,000 miles away from my whole entire family, and then I see someone who is from, Washington, who almost resembles a little bit of home, and so I do get emotional. I am very excited to see him at the time. So he's living there for like 5 or 6 months, and things start to progress very quickly. He puts his hands on me, and I don't like that. I still to this day, I am with a man who I truly love, who is very supportive, who is very sweet to me, who I can see myself with forever. And still to this day, certain areas I don't like him touching. If he touches it, I get a little, freaked out, a little, hidden back into my shell. But so it did progress, and it did get very worse very quickly. And finally, we were fighting all the time. He was in my head. He was yelling at me. He was putting his hands on me, and I couldn't do it anymore. And finally, I got him, because I was like, if I break up with him, he's going to kill me. So I start acting out. And I'm like, well, maybe if I can get him to break up with me, then it'll all be good. So that is exactly what I did. I was mean. I, kind of started standing up for myself. But finally he broke up with me. And I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah. So around Christmas time, he actually flies back to Washington. He gets a one-way ticket. He's not coming back. And so I was finally like, okay, we're done. I miss my family dearly. I don't like it here in Missouri. I made some wonderful friends in Missouri, but I'm from Washington. I love hiking. I love going to the mountains. I love going to the beach. And in Missouri, you just can't do that. So I do decide I fly home Christmas Day. I just miss home. So I come home, and it's about January, and I haven't heard from this guy until I start dating my current boyfriend. We go out on a date. We've been dating for about 2 or 3 weeks now. It's now February, like the end of February, and the ex-George gets a hold of my current boyfriend and says how I cheated on him, how I was actually with him, and he was in my house. And I'm going crazy because he goes so far as to create in his text app, he changes the name of one of his friends to Ashley. So it looks believable. It looks like I am texting him saying that I want him to come over to my house, that I want to do things with him, and this guy is crazy. I can't even explain to you how crazy he is. Collect yourself. Anyways, so we're going on this date, and it's an amazing date. We get back into the car, and I start bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I really like you. I am really interested in you. You're such a sweet guy, and I'm so not used to it. I really do I love you. We're 2 weeks into the relationship, and I say I love you. He's so sweet to me. He's so nice, and I want to grab right onto it because I didn't have that. So, anyways, so Ellie. Okay, we're back. Sorry, my dog had a fit. So, anyways, so I'm crying in this car because this text looks believable. He went so far as to make me look at it, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy that I'm dating now is gonna believe this. He's going to break up with me, and this is the best relationship I've ever had. And I can't believe that he's gonna ruin this for me. So, anyways, me and this guy talk, and I swear up and down, it was not me. I know we're only 2 weeks into a relationship, but you really need to trust me. And he does. We're still together. We've been together for about 1.5 years. We have our own place. We have our dog that you heard earlier. We've made a life together. And I haven't heard from this guy until about 2 weeks ago. He was saying that he wasn't doing too well. So my dumbass was like, why? What's going on? Are you okay? I didn't think anything of it. I was kind of just like, I did genuinely care for this guy. I was with this guy for 3 years. And so when he comes to me and he's like, I'm not doing okay, I'm like, what's wrong? And my current boyfriend, he does get a little bit upset about this because he doesn't want me talking to him. Not because he's controlling, but because he knows how much pain and hurt this guy did to me. When we first started dating, he could see it in me. He could see the scars on me. I did actually get a tattoo on my arm to cover some of them because when I looked at them, I quite literally had a panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I got scared. Even when me and my boyfriend moved into our apartment at first, I had nightmares. you know, I got so scared in my sleep that he was here. And I don't know who's ever watching this, if you've ever dealt with an abusive relationship, but just if you are in one right now, I strongly, strongly, strongly say get out. You know, if they are any way abusive, it's not love. It's controlling. They're trying to own you. It's not a relationship that you want to be in, that you want to raise a family with. You don't want your kids to see it. You don't want your family to see it. And that's basically the whole story. This was a very emotional video to make. This was very hard for me to say. But the message out of this is, if you are in an abusive relationship, if you know a friend that is in an abusive relationship, you really, really need to talk to someone. You know, message me. You know, you have people to reach out to. You know, I strongly believe in therapy. You know, just talking to your friends, talking to your family. My mom and dad, since the whole thing, have become two of my best friends because I opened up, I said what had happened, you know, and it's been such a blessing. So if you have been in a relationship like this, if you are in a relationship, if your friend is in a relationship, I strongly, strongly suggest getting help. Don't be scared. You know, there are things called restraining orders. There's things called putting them in jail, which I have gotten a restraining order before on him, and it was the best thing I could ever do. So anyways, this video is long, and I am going to have to edit for the next 4 hours. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you got a little bit of insight into my life. I will be making more story times because this was actually really fun to film. I enjoyed just talking about a little bit of my life with you, getting you a little bit closer to me as I get a little bit closer to YouTube. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really truly appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time in my next video. Bye, guys.